maybe a few close friends. All right? And the Barack Obama share of the black vote. All right, so I don't have to ask you. All right, your eyes go to this automatically, right? Completely out of whack, out of balance. But what you need to know is that's really kind of the norm. Barack Obama only increased his share of the black vote about 3 or 4%. For this particular chart right here, the most important thing for us to take note of is this. Now why? Because for the first time in American presidential election history, the candidate who won the white vote lost the election. Never happened in American politics, presidential election politics history before, ever. How severe was the drubbing? Remember, Barack Obama got 365 electoral college votes, nearly 100 more than what he needed. 66 million popular votes, beat John McCain by about 7 points. And this dynamic right here of winning the white vote but losing the election was repeated in states all across the Union. States like Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida. John McCain won the white vote in Missouri, only won the state by 3,000 votes. John McCain won the white vote in Maryland, lost the state by 25 points. See, what we have to know and understand is what the Democrats know and understand. Here's the truth. I'll slow down a little bit here because I want you guys to really get this. After the 2008 election, flipping through the channels, get to C-SPAN. Anybody ever heard of a guy by the name of Cornell Belcher? Raise your hand. Nobody? Do you know Donna Brazile? Yeah. Right, everybody knows Donna Brazile. Okay. Her partner is a guy by the name of Cornell Belcher. They have a political consulting firm called Brilliant Corners Strategies. And Cornell Belcher was one of Obama's main posters in 2008. Black dude, shaggy hair, bad dresser, you know, but brilliant. Brilliant. And so he's in front of American University. Every year, American University, between the fall and spring semesters, has a campaign management school. They also have a school on lobbying. And so Cornell Belcher was lecturing these students. I bought the DVD from that lecture because it was a Samson and Delilah moment. He was revealing the secret of their power. It was amazing stuff. 30 bucks I paid for that DVD. 30 bucks. Avatar didn't cost 30 bucks, all right? But the real takeaway from that lecture was this. He said, the Republicans will never beat us if they can't address, recognize two things. He said, number one, they'll never beat us if they can't match us in infrastructure. You know what infrastructure is? Organizing on the ground game. We can lampoon this guy, Obama, all we want to about being a community organizer.
That's what he is.
Well, let me tell you something. In 2007, I was at the Ronald Reagan Republican Women's Club, sitting next to Tom DeLay, who was the keynote speaker. And he got up to the podium and he said, Hillary Clinton is going to be our next president. And he said because he had never seen a political machine like the Clinton machine, ever. In all the years, in the expertise and proficiency of Tom DeLay, he said the Clinton machine, he had never seen anything like it. And by the time David Plouffe, Axelrod, and Obama finished with the Clinton machine, it was a pile of nuts and bolts in the middle of the floor, never to be reassembled. We can joke about this guy, lampoon him, ridicule him about being a community organizer. But if we don't match it, with him potentially having $1 billion, probably falls short now because Wall Street's running away from him. But let's say he matches what he had last time, $750 million, $750 million, plus some ticked off unions. Stop your laughing. Stop it. This guy is serious. He knows what he's doing. And they know that if we can't match them in organizing, we ain't got a chance to beat them. They know it. My neighborhood in 2010, in my neighborhood. Okay? Dan Patrick is my state senator. John Culberson is my congressman. Dwayne Bohack is my state representative. And those green-shirted, ask-me people were in my neighborhood, on my block, working it. They will go anywhere. They will tread on any ground to organize, identify their voters, and get them out. We better do the same. None of this sitting around, rallying and all this, passing these emails around and stuff. No, get out there and burn up some shoe leather, partner. Because if you don't, they're going to whip our tails. They're going to whip our tails. And you better be ready to fight. And the second thing Cornell Belcher said was, the Republicans will never beat us if they can't acknowledge, recognize, and address the fact, and this is his phraseology, that the electorate is turning browner. Did you hear what I said? The electorate is turning browner. Now, what do we do about that? Texas demographics. And this is up to date. Newsflash, white folks ain't the majority anymore. In Texas. Went to California, had to study those demographics. Little factoid for you. The demographics of California and Texas are essentially identical. Do you know the kind of mess California is in right now? Fiscally and socially? If you want to know why Democrats, all those leftist organizations, pour millions of dollars, I mean millions of dollars, and we have witnesses to it in this room tonight, into Texas, win or lose in an election cycle, it's for one reason and one reason only, and they are not shy about confessing it. They are looking at the demographics. They are saying, there ain't enough white folks in this state, we can take it. And they pour millions of dollars into it. And we're tracking Soros money into the state. We're tracking Soros money into the state. They want to use the Colorado model, and you guys know the campaign in 2010, to turn Texas blue. They're looking at one thing and one thing only: demographics. Okay? I'm going to back up to that in a second. Let's look at Galveston County demographics. Galveston County demographics. And here you see, where's the Caucasian population? Tip below that threshold, slipping down, it's below 60 and dropping further. Okay, look at Hispanic and Latino. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's look at Harris County by comparison. Whites aren't even the plurality anymore. They're not even the plurality anymore. Okay? It's even worse in Dallas County. This is how you get Annalise Parker as mayor of Houston, Texas. This is how. Right? The only thing that's saving us, let me back this up now. Okay, this is the 08 vote in Texas. And once again, this is showing you the portion of the electorate of each racial group. Right? And so what's happening is you get this unholy cabal, unholy alliance of liberal whites, and they are liberal, They believe that mess. They say, man, I had a speaking engagement. Y'all, you ever heard of Lago Vista up there? Yes. Right at the feet of the hill country? Gorgeous country, right? So we're driving up there. You know where the bee caves are? Yeah. You ever heard of the bee caves? Right? Driving along there, see this guy literally walking along the side of the road. He's got a red CCCP hammer and sickle t-shirt on. Literally. Like, wow. We joke about Travis and Austin being the People's Republic of Austin. This guy was literally walking down the street with a CCCP hammer and sickle t-shirt on. Those folks believe that stuff. But you got these white liberals, socialists, call them what they are, voting with conservative. I say it again. Conservative blacks and Hispanics. And it's going to increasingly make it more difficult for us to win elections. Increasingly more difficult for us to win elections. Now, everybody focuses on the Hispanic vote. But what's saving our hide right now is that Hispanics don't vote. This is a national phenomenon. They always underrepresent a portion of the electorate versus their portion of the population. Always. Okay? Remember now, they're almost 38% of the population in Texas, but they're only 20% of the electorate. On a national scale, there's 16% of the population, 16.5% of the population. They're only 9% of the electorate. African Americans are 12.5% of the population, 15% of the national electorate, 12% of the population here in Texas, 12% of the population, 13% of the electorate. Your power base is the black vote. And nobody wants to go after them. They leave them alone. Democrats leave them alone because they can literally put the Democratic mascot on the ballot, a jackass, and they'll vote for him. And Republicans won't go after him because what's the point? The Democrats have him. And you've seen all this consternation, the Congressional Black Caucus and everybody. Well, do we go after Obama? This is the time to strike. Because they're ticked off at Obama. They're ticked off at Obama. This is the time to strike. Their eyes are being opened. Wait a minute, this guy's riding around in Iowa, in the white neighborhoods, and we've got 10,000 people wrapped around some convention center or sports complex trying to get jobs. Wait a minute, he's a black president. How come our lives aren't any better? Because he's a socialist, dude. Right. Doesn't work. He ain't worried about you. He's worried about pushing his socialist agenda. No, you're not going to get any Obama money. There ain't no Obama money anymore. This is the time to strike. Even the people, his circle, his most ardent supporters, the Democratic Party's most ardent supporters, are sitting there questioning their allegiance. And we've got no plan in place to take advantage of it. We're just sitting there like bumps on a log. This is the time to strike. If we don't, they're going to still be sitting there. The key for us in Texas, number one, we can get a zero. Remember, see, we got 35% of the Hispanic vote. We get 35 to 40% of the Hispanic vote. Even nationally. That ain't bad. We get a zero behind here. We don't have nothing to worry about for years, election cycles to come. If you can just do something about that. We win, and we win a lot. The good news is, those folks believe like we do. Okay? Now, demographic trends. The demographics of California, the demographics of Texas, will be America's demographics in 25 years. 25. That means there's folks in this room, you're still going to be around. Now there's going to be some folks here, admittedly, maybe even me, that may be 6 feet under, but what are you going to leave for your children and your children's children?
Bill.
This is the white population now, in the yellow. About 65%. Hispanics, about 16. African Americans, about 12. Asians, about 5. Okay, but by 2036, says Larry Sabato, University of Virginia professor, 25 years, white population in America, under 50, Hispanic, close to 30, African Americans about the same, as due to the genocide of abortion, and Asians approaching 10. Whites will no longer be the majority in America. This just came out on June 23rd, 2011. History. Census shows minority babies outnumber white babies. Very first paragraph. This is the first paragraph. For the first time, minorities make up a majority, can't call them minorities anymore, minorities make up a majority of babies in the U.S., part of a sweeping race change and a growing age divide between mostly white, older Americans and predominantly minority youths that could reshape government policies. You think I'm joking about America being gone? No. There it is. They see the change. They see the racial dynamics of the country changing, which will have an impact on political policies. You can shred the Constitution right now. No, Mr. Franklin, we could not keep the Republic. Somebody better wake up. I mean, you better wake up now. And with all this information that I've given you, this is the racial composition of the grand old party. 2000, 88% white. 2004, 87% white. 2009, 88% white. 2% black, 46% Hispanic. Diametrically opposite of the current demographic composition of our nation, of our state. Opposite. This is shameful. This is caused by a dearth of leadership. Do you guys know where I got this information from? This and this. You know where I got it from? RPT. Republican Party of Texas. They know it. What are they doing about it? I got the information. The actual slides. We changed the colors up a little bit. I got the slides. From Lavaca Street, well, they were still on Congress at the time. They know it. Lack of leadership. Lack of vision. Either don't care or don't know what to do about the problem. One of the two. You flip a coin and decide which one it is. But if you don't do something about it, and I mean right now, we may skate by to win an election November 2012. We may skate by in 2014. But buddy, what about 16, 18, 20, 32? You have to do something about this. And you wonder why it's so easy for them to call us racist. You wonder why. Look at it. Now, where do our targets live? Remember, the power base are African American. Sorry, I said I was going to change that. Sorry. Americans of African descent. Right? Where do they live? Now, this chart shows you just by hard numbers. Just hard numbers. Where the most blacks live. Okay? Look up here, Texas Big Six. Harris County has more blacks in it than Los Angeles. I didn't know that, so I started doing that research. Oh, let me back this up. Look at Bexar County. See, as a percentage of the population, blacks don't make up a high percentage of the population, but there's a whole bunch of them there. Whole bunch. All right? Now, this one shows density of population, or in other words, what's the percentage of the black population in a county? In a county. And once again, okay, and so now you know where the battleground is for the state. You want to win a statewide election? The battleground is I-35 east of the Sabine, Red River down to Corpus Christi. The West don't get no love. You've got to control East Texas. You got to control East Texas. The key for our victories going forward is to have strong infrastructure, roots in the communities of color in East Texas. We do that, we win continually, nonstop. Are y'all getting the picture here? Y'all talk to me. I know y'all scared and have to, whatever, but y'all getting the picture. We're talking about solutions now, all right? Now, once again, let's talk about our target. Who are the most church-going people in the country? Who? Right, we can talk here with family. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I mean, I've been called everything under the sun, even this past week. All right? Black folk. Let's just break it down. Black folk. All right? They're the most church-going people in the country, right? 53% were at somebody's church this past Sunday, more than any other demographic category. That same 53% perceived the Democratic Party as being friendlier towards religion. What? 30% see the Republican Party as being outright hostile towards religion. Let's talk about this. Why? Why do you think that? Y'all don't mind if I slow down a bit, right? Let your food digest, because we need to talk. Why?
Black pastors.
Who? What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I said black pastors.
Black pastors, okay. Anybody else?
Politicians go into the black churches. The Democrats go into the churches.
Any other suggestions?
The Republicans stay home.
Whose fault is it? If you're going to ascribe blame, who's to blame? Who's to blame?
We're to blame.
There you go. Before you can ascribe blame to anybody else, look around the room. You can say that the influence is the devil or anybody else. The problem is, we don't go over there and talk to him. Leadership doesn't go and talk to him. Candidates don't go and talk to him. I know Randy does. Because Randy has personally brought me around to black churches in his district. Introduced me to pastors. I know he does. Not the rest of them.
We tried.
See, how are you going to convince them that our values more closely line up with their values if you won't go and talk to them? How is it that a homosexual activist can walk into a church, a black church, whatever kind of church it is, Catholic church, whatever, and convince them that somehow same-sex marriage is a civil right, but our leaders just keep driving by? That's real. Let me play something for you, okay? Now, this isn't from the 60s or the 70s. This is from February of 2010. This is a caller into C-SPAN. Her name is Savannah. It's about 90 seconds. And I want you to hear what she has to say. And then we'll talk about it a little bit further, okay?
We're talking about the congressional agenda and politics and policy. Our guests this morning are saying jobs, jobs, jobs. New York City, Savannah on the Democratic line. What do you think?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to bring up two issues, and I really would like to hear the comments of both really enjoy your writings. First, really quick, Mr. Wilson, I don't understand how it's a problem for Democrats. I understand not one job loss it's not good. But you're talking about 20,000 jobs lost. But when Obama first came in, it was 700,000 jobs lost in the first month. So I really want to understand why this is bad for Democrats. Also, I want to mention that, please, I would like to hear you guys talk about this. I'm not trying to bring up, I know it's the quote-unquote race card, but my problem is diversity in the parties. I enjoy being a Democrat because I believe the Democrats represent America, which is all races, all religions, etc. I'm sure there's all religions, but I think it's kind of, if everybody opens up their eyes, it's seriously, I'll tell you the problem. The problem is that the Tea Party people and the Republicans, other than maybe Michael Steele, they're all white. I mean, that's a problem. I mean, forget about everything else. Here's the problem when you have a party, the Tea Party people and the Republicans, and they're all white. That's the only, I even personally agree with a lot of things that the Republicans say, but there's no way I'm going to all white.
All right, Savannah, I think we got both of your points.
Okay, so what keeps ringing in your head? All white, right? But what's the most important thing that she said?
She agrees.
There you go, you picked it up. You picked it up. There's a lot of things that she agrees with. But she can't join our ranks because of the power of perception. She says something is wrong. Now let's investigate and let's see if she's correct. So I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a voter of color and rewind to 2008 and the national conventions. So now you're a voter of color. You turn the television on to the Democratic National Convention in Denver, and there's 75,000 people in Mile High Stadium, 1/3 white, 1/3 black, 1/3 Hispanic, and they're all holding hands, and they're, on the left train, that kind of thing. Now, you as a voter may disagree with what's being said from the podium. But what they're seeing is their worldview. Their worldview is diversity. Their worldview is races getting along, working together, diversity in leadership, men and women, all colors, all different age range. That's their worldview. That's what they believe in. They believe that's what America, what she said, what America is supposed to look like. Anything affiliated or representing America is supposed to look like that. So now, once again, you're a voter of color. Fast forward 1 week later to the Republican National Convention in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We had less than 40 black delegates to the National Convention, 2 of which were friends of mine from Houston. Maybe it doesn't illustrate for you how severe the problem is. So let's try this. Let's say every state in the Union elected its delegates to the National Convention the way we elect our delegates here in Texas. Now, everybody doesn't. I mean, Maryland is like real jacked up, all right? But let's just say, for the sake of illustration, every state in the Union and all the 5 territories elected their national delegates the way we do. All right? So how do we do it? What happens on the first Tuesday of March? Primary. During the day, you do what? Vote. That night, you do what? You go to your precinct caucus, right? And whether a whole bunch of folks show up to your precinct caucus or don't show up to your precinct convention, that's how you elect your delegates to go where? Senatorial district or county convention, correct? And from there, you pick your delegates to go where? State convention. In Texas, the largest gathering of Republicans in the world. And from your state convention, you pick your delegates to go where? National convention. So let's say all the states and territories pick their delegates the way we do it here in Texas. And at the end of that process, you have less than one black delegate per state in the union. Per state in the union. Where do your national delegates come from? From the grassroots. Literally from blocks by the lowest representation of voters in the electorate, the precinct level. You can go to the Harris County Executive Committee meeting once a quarter, and what you will find is SD 13 is virtually empty because we don't have a presence there. So when Savannah says something is wrong, she's right. Nothing wrong with them. There's something wrong with us and our organization. That is a foundational problem. That is a systemic problem. It is a crisis. You wonder why they don't vote with us? We don't have anybody over there. And now you have to have folks from there in order to win elections. And most of our leaders are scratching their heads. What do we do? We've never had interaction with them. We've never attempted. I mean, sure, there's been people that we've talked to, county chairman, and their idea of trying to get these people to vote for us is go throw a pig on the barbecue, and that's going to repair decades of damage and injury. No, not going to happen. You better be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit wiser than that. Now, here's the good news. Those folks that we need to go and talk to, by wide margins, the vast majority, that we need to win elections, they already agree with us. They have our values. We simply have to find a way to convince them to join our ranks. I'm going to prove it to you.